Okay. All right. So welcome Sam to our session tonight. Jack is a fashion guide, and this is our membership community for those who are looking to start a fashion business that is made in Africa, and want to do it in a way that is responsibly, that's working with producers, manufacturers, artisans, so forth. Some people are doing African inspired brands, but the main thing we want to do is tap into what is African and presenting that to the world. And your platform, I felt there was a great example. I know it's recently launched, but I thought it was a great example of what people are doing. Could you explain a bit more about the vision and how you got started?
Yeah.
And who makes up the team as well?
Yeah, so I have an unusual background for somebody who's in fashion and the creative space. I'm actually an economist by training, and worked in investment banking, worked in technology, Silicon Valley, set up operations in Africa for tech companies. And then at some point I decided I wanted to do something different. I wanted to apply my skills and my network to, doing something that I would enjoy. And I just stumbled on fashion because I traveled a lot across Africa, and I've always really appreciated what I call African cultural products. So it could be food, art, music, fashion. That's the good stuff that life's made of, that you enjoy when you travel across Africa. And for me, it was always an area of intrigue. Why it was that, and this was a few years ago, about 10 years ago, why it was that we hadn't managed to commercialize, especially back then, our food, our fashion, our art. And yet so many other parts of the world have done that successfully. And we're using that to, create economic opportunities for their people, by, selling, Chinese food, or European fashion, or American art. And Africa is so culturally endowed. So there was a real opportunity for us to figure out, why, what are the issues, what are the nuts and bolts issues, and how can I use my skills in finance, technology, design to help contribute towards this problem. And that's how it kind of started. It started as a curiosity, and the curiosity slowly evolved into what became Kisua. And, when we started Kisua, we were really one of the first, if not the first, African fashion brand to go digital. Right from the get-go. In fact, we launched online first in 2013, before we even had a physical store. And we were trading all over the world, selling to customers all over the world. And so we gained a lot of experience as a business in terms of our ability to run an e-commerce operation and fulfill, service customers, a global customer base. And over the years, collaboration has always been part of our DNA at Kisua. In the very beginning, we collaborated with designers from across Africa. Although we were a fashion brand ourselves, we collaborated with other fashion brands, other designers from other countries across Africa, and we created, capsule collections that had character from each of the different countries. And this was actually one of our initial collections at launch. So collaboration has always been part of our DNA. So what gave birth to Ananse was how could we use the skills, the expertise, the network that we built over the years with Kisua, and how can we turn that into something that could be used for the benefit of designers across the continent, but then also enable customers around the world to be able to purchase from designers across the African continent, artists across the African continent. And really, that's how the whole Ananse project was envisioned. So this is what we've done for ourselves. How can we turn this platform into something that others can use, and it's a viable business model for them and a viable business model for us? We're able to collaborate, we're able to share, and still create something that will service customers and service designers. And that's how the idea came about.
I love it, and I love the name as well, and especially as we're entering, or we have evolved into this kind of blockchain network of ecosystems, different type of ecosystems. Just the name of Ananse, I mean, from like Caribbean background and obviously from African heritage, the spider and the spider kind of connecting
the web
content. Yeah. So that's how I see it, and hopefully I got the right vision.
Absolutely. It's the web, it's the weaving, it's the fabric, all of it coming together, the connectivity. So that's all what we're bringing together on the platform.
Awesome. And do you find, because I'm finding a lot now, because again we are in this new world, a new way of doing things, new tech world, and you said even though your background was tech. I mean, I remember Kisura, I remember what you've done with that, but your background before all of this was tech. Do you feel that the fashion industry, that the tech industry and the fashion industry, they need to align now, that this is the way things are going, that a fashion business of today is a tech business?
Yeah, absolutely. I used to say to people that for me, the greatest fashion invention is the internet, because it's probably the single most revolutionary thing to happen to fashion, in the last 30 or 40 years. And with this technology, small fashion brands can sell to customers all over the world. Small fashion brands can get discovered by major retailers all over the world. Small fashion brands can get discovered by a celebrity like Beyonce. When Beyonce wore Kisua for the first time, she found us online. That's how she found Kisua. And in fact, when her team contacted us, we didn't believe that it was Beyonce's team. We thought it was a 419 scam. So we actually ignored them for a while because we were not sure. It's like, the 419 scams, I'm a prince and I would, want to do business with you, that kind of thing. I'm Beyonce and I want to do business with you. I want one of your clothes. And I'm like, no, it's got to be a scam, man. Don't even reply to that. Absolutely. And then it turned out to actually be Beyonce's team. And that's how we got to dress Beyonce. And without the internet, those opportunities would not have opened up to us. And that's why technology is so important, so integral to fashion these days. You really can't run a fashion business successfully these days without, really taking advantage of technology.
I think it's a lesson to us all. We have to all start to think a bit differently in how we're setting up our businesses, the back end, the front end, the connecting, all of this. So with that in mind, how does Ananse, the marketplace, how does it function? Does it offer the opportunity for the fashion businesses to have their own back end, or is it mostly, the interaction is through the customer and the platform, or is it through the brands and the customers connecting? How does it work? How's the tech function?
So what we discovered doing this for several years is, and interacting with creatives from all over Africa, is that they wanted a tool that was simple to use. Most designers, they don't have a development team. They don't have software developers in house. They have, themselves, a few members of staff. They're really fashion businesses. So the challenge was, how do you give a designer something that is user-friendly, It's got it doesn't require them to know anything about coding. It doesn't require them to know anything about payments integration. It doesn't require them to know anything about logistics integration. It's a plug and play solution. It works and it's effective.
Yeah.
And they can use this tool to run their business, their physical business in the space in which they operate. If they operate from a store or from home, you have a inventory management system, a POS system that they can use to run that physical trading location. And at the same time, they can sell online. And that's really what we do. Is it's meant to be simple, it's meant to be straightforward, it's meant to be easy, and it's meant to enable designers to sell online, do it easily, run their physical stores with the same platform, and not have to be distracted by all the things in the back end that make the system work. It just works, and you get to focus on what you're good at, which is design, making desirable products, and selling to your customers and taking care of your customers. So we take the pain out of technology and kind of running your own system and running your own backend.
Awesome. So what differs? Because there's been a lot. I mean, I've been around. I've been in this industry of African fashion since about 2009, 10. That's when I entered. My background is actually fashion, working for the general fashion industry as a designer. For those who don't know, I've got an industry career for about 20 years as a design professional for high street brands, etc. But within African fashion, it's been since about 2009, 10. And I've seen a lot. As a blogger, as sourcing agent, as a business coach and consultant, etc. I've seen a lot of brands come up, a lot of online stores. You've seen them. Many have come, and I feel some came off the scene a bit too early, because now we can see there's a big rush towards African fashion, and the people want to find these brands. There's an interest in African fashion brands. But there's obviously space in the market for these platforms like what you've got now, even more now. But what's your difference? What is making it stand out amongst a few others that are still out there today?
Yeah. So I think our point of difference is on the surface, a marketplace is a marketplace. It looks like a marketplace. It quacks like a marketplace. Our point of difference is the fact that before we started a marketplace, we actually ran a fashion brand ourselves. And so all of that know-how and knowledge has gone into how we designed the platform. We run physical stores. We run Kisua stores. We run Kisua's global online presence. And we've taken all of that know-how in the way that the platform works, the intricacies of the platform. So on the surface, they might all look the same, but really in terms of the inner workings of the platform and the ease with which we make it possible for a designer to run a physical store and trade online simultaneously at the same, using the same tools and the same platform, we really simplified it. And I think that is a simplification, the ease of use, and the ability to trade both online and offline, use on the same platform. I think that's what makes it special. And then of course we also have a lot of support services that we offer that I'm not sure other providers offer. I mean, we do a lot of training. So every week we run training sessions. We find that many creatives are intimidated by technology, and just aren't comfortable and aren't sure how to use tools like this. So we spend a lot of time upskilling, helping them build up their confidence, showing them how it works, and that it's not that difficult. You can do it, and then things that really matter for e-commerce that people don't sometimes realize. When you're doing e-commerce, you're not selling a dress or a coat or a skirt. That's not what you're selling. What you're selling is a picture. You're selling a picture of a dress. You're selling a picture of a coat or a picture of a skirt. If you understand that, then you understand how important digital merchandising is. How do you present your products visually to a customer on e-commerce? These are things that, because we've run a fashion brand, we know how to do, and we are able to support designers and help them do the same thing. When a customer is buying online, your description matters. The fact that you've named the product something, and then there's a story behind that product, and then there's a description that actually tells me, what it is, how it fits, the texture, and so on. That's all things that if I was in a physical store, my eyes and my hand and my touch, my feel, my sight, I will be able to get that information by being by having that product in my hand. When I'm shopping online, I am relying on you, the person selling me that product, to somehow convey the quality of information to me, so I, as a customer and a consumer, can make that decision. And these are the kind of things these are some of the soft skills that are really important to being successful online, that we work with our merchants on the platform on. How do you name a product? How do you write a product description? How do you write your bio? How do you present yourself? These are all things that we support on the platform. And so, yeah, I think we have a very intricate understanding of the inner workings of the fashion business. And so we're good partners to merchants, to designers who are looking to go online and scale and grow their businesses. So we're always looking for ways in which we can add value, ways in which we can increase the value of the platform and the services that it provides to designers. So we have things in the pipeline, things that are coming. One of the things that's coming is a bulk feature. So that bulk feature enables a customer to buy in bulk. So let's say bridesmaids are shopping online for a dress for a wedding, and there's 7 bridesmaids. So instead of 1, they want to buy 7 of an item. We are introducing features which allow the customer to actually place a bulk order and potentially get a bulk price with the merchant. We're also looking at features that will enable wholesale. So international retailers can come to the platform, look at what's available, and then put out a request for proposals, a request for put out an RFP on the platform, say, hey, we want to buy, this kind of dresses or this kind of jackets, this kind of skirts from designers in Africa. These are the kind of specifications we're looking for. And they send out a broadcast to the designers on the platform. Designers can then submit quotes, return bids, put in their bids via the platform. And yeah, so we're always looking at, and Kisuwa, we have a history with wholesale. We have quite a number of wholesale clients, international wholesale clients, some in Africa as well. So again, this is experience that we have. We understand how to do wholesale, how to price wholesale, and these are elements that we are adding to the platform over time and making these available to the designers.
This is awesome. So it's given a full service for the designer. It sounds like it's really got the designers at the forefront of the focus, the supporting the designers. With that said, one other aspect is, well, the 2 aspects I'd like to talk about. Well, let's go firstly to the logistics. So one of the bane of any designer's business when it comes to Africa, especially, the biggest question is about shipping. Because are you, is it seller demand? Is it, are you purchasing up front first the product from the designers and then reselling, or is it like a drop shipping, or is it by order? How is it working from that end? Because the designers, the major issues is, how do I deal with logistics if the product's being made in Africa and you want to get it to an international market?
Yeah. So that's a great question, right? And anybody who's done fashion on the African continent knows just how much of a pain logistics can be. So we've tried to come up with a model that keeps it as simple as possible, but also as efficient as possible. So we don't buy the product. The designer, the product's on the system, loaded by the designer with our onboarding team, with the support of our onboarding team. So their inventory is in the system. That inventory can then be purchased by a customer anywhere in the world. The customer enters their details during the purchase process. The system calculates a shipping cost. That shipping cost is then presented to the customer. In this case, right now we're running a promo, so we're doing free shipping. But ordinarily, when we're not doing free shipping, a shipping quote is presented to the customer based on the system automatically calculates the shipping quote from wherever the designer is and wherever the garments are to wherever they're going. So let's say the designer's in Nigeria and the products are going to New York. Yeah. It will calculate those shipping rates. The product is purchased, the shipping is paid for, and then the courier is dispatched. The system, once the designer has packaged the item for shipping, they can, through the system, then request the pickup. Okay. A courier is then dispatched by the system, so it's all automated, to the address to pick up. It's then picked up, and then it's delivered to the customer wherever they might be in the world. So you, as a designer, you don't have to worry about, do I need to open an account? Which courier company should I open an account with? How much are they going to charge me? All of those logistics headaches we've taken away from the designer. Somebody shows up, they pick it up, and it gets delivered. And you have the support of our team. We've done a lot of work with our courier partner, in this case DHL, behind the scenes, to make sure that the process is seamless. And when there's an issue, sometimes unexpectedly customers might stop a package. We then manage all of that. The designer doesn't have to worry about that. We manage the customer. Customer is upset because they were expecting the parcel. Now the parcel is stuck at customs. Somebody needs to deal with the customer. Somebody needs to deal with the courier company, understand what the issues are, and try and resolve it as quickly as possible. We take that pain away from the designer and make it easier for them.
So what if the designer is, okay, so I'm a Brit. I'm here based in London, England, and I have my supplier manufacturers in Kenya, Ghana, Rwanda, wherever it is on the continent.
Yeah.
And I love your platform. I feel that ease, and I want to be able to work with an African retailer, online retailer, to be able to, as another option of selling to the rest of the world. Can that still work for me, being British but having my products made in Africa that way, but I'm not based there? Or is it mostly focused on African-based designers?
So we open the platform up to designers of African heritage. Mm-hmm. So even if you're based in the UK, provided that your supply chain is African, and if you're based in the UK and you are importing goods from India and China, then it doesn't really go to the core of what we stand for as a platform, which is about African creative products that are made in Africa, creating jobs on the continent, using materials that come from the continent. So that's really what we're about. So if a designer is based somewhere else in the world, provided they fit into our philosophy and our vision of African fashion made in Africa, then you can trade on the platform the exact same way that any other designer based in Africa can.
Awesome. So that's good to know. It's good to know because, you know, we work with many people who, through my network, who are based, you know, in the global West, or in the West. So that's really good to know. So how was their process to get featured on your platform, to be part of this? What would somebody need to do?
So there's two ways to do it. One is, you go on ananse.com, and there's in there, you can then register as a designer to trade on the platform. So you can sign up on the platform. The other is you can just drop an email to care@ananse.com, care@ananse.com, and one of our onboarding agents will contact you. They'll share documents that explain how it works, and then support you throughout the onboarding process, help you with the setup, explain, things that matter to us, like photography, and how to do the photography, how to get the photography right for e-commerce, so that you get sales, you get conversions. So we guide the designer through that process. So you can do that by signing up online on ananse.com, or dropping us an email.
Awesome. I think this is really going to change the way designers are able to get more access now. For those in the continent, I know you work with a lot of different countries. I've seen the like the media deck as well, and it's very impressive the way you're working, the things offering. Like you said, it's like a full service to support the designers, which is really great. Can you share? This is one big question. I mean, you're doing an amazing thing, you and your team. But finance, can we talk about money? Can we talk about money? How, in financing these kind of businesses, for those who are designers getting into this industry? I mean, is this something that you support designers in regards to the education and the training? Do you do something with that within the platform's trainings? And just setting up something like this, would you do it again if you knew? I mean, you kind of have done it again because you set up a new company. But what kind of advice would you give in regards to financing, raising finance, getting financial support, and just in regards to doing that for this platform?
So I have to say that that's probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest part of trying to scale a fashion business, is getting the funding. Because of the way the fashion business works, commercial banks typically aren't interested in small businesses trying to do fashion. They consider us to be too risky. So the finance options aren't that many. In my case, when I started Kisua with my own personal resources. I literally sold everything that I had, and used that to start the company. Starting on my dining table. That was our first office, was my dining table. And we would have meetings in my living room and use the TV as a screen. It was really, we started really small with my own resources. And then over time, as you start to make progress, it's easier to then attract angel investors, individuals who like what you're doing and feel they can put a little bit of money, as much as they can afford to lose. They can put that money in your business. But typically those angel investors will only come on board once they see that you yourself, you the entrepreneur, have got skin in the game, right? So if you have a job, it's unlikely that people are going to take their hard-earned savings and give it to you whilst you yourself are not fully committed in the business. So for me, that was in my personal experience and in my journey, that was important. I think the minute that angel investors could see that, oh wow, this guy has left, his career. He had very good job working for one of the top Silicon Valley companies, and he's left that to come do this. He's committed. He's serious.
Yeah.
And then they're willing to take a risk on you. And then you build your record from there. The other thing that's quite important, and again, because of my finance background, I understood this, was having a good set of accounts. So knowing, what are your costs, keeping record of your expenses, having a proper set of accounts, being able to calculate your gross margin and knowing what your gross margin is, and understanding what you have to do in order to be profitable, because you've done the numbers and you've run the numbers. If you're going to talk to an investor, you have to have all of those details, well constructed as part of the motivation that you present to an investor, to explain why this business is a viable business and why this is a business they should support or invest in.
So for those who are getting into it, I mean, you've given some, this is classic advice, but it's so key, which we often overlook, but the accounts and the numbers are key. It doesn't really, and nothing else matters but the numbers, more than the product in many ways for investors or banks when they're looking at your business. But with all that doing Kisua now, evolving into Ananse, what advice would you give for those who are entering this industry? Who may want to do
so, I guess the first piece of advice I would give is, firstly, make sure, don't rush it, because it's going to be it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You have to understand that the decisions you're making have got long-term consequences, and you have to be prepared to really throw yourself all in, because it is really difficult. I say to people, and I'm not shy to say, this is probably the hardest thing I've ever done. I've worked in hard-nosed industries like investment banking in London, dealing with very, very difficult work environments and very difficult people in a very stressful, fast-paced environment. And African fashion, I kid you not, is harder than that. I've worked for Silicon Valley companies, very difficult, very demanding environment. And I found being an African fashion entrepreneur harder than that. So I think it's important for people coming in not to have any romanticized views of what to expect. You see the pictures, you see the fashion shows, you see the beautiful models and the beautiful clothes and the beautiful sets in the background. That's literally 20% of it, right? The other 80% is supply chain management, getting your fabric right, getting your production right, getting your quality assurance, you're getting your logistics, your products are stuck at customs. That's what you're going to be dealing with. So I think it's important for people not to be naive, and just to understand just how challenging it is, and go into this knowing and expecting that this is going to take a lot out of me. I'm going to have to invest a lot of myself, my money, my time, my effort. It's not going to be a walk in the park. And I think that honesty with yourself is important, and will prevent you from, being disappointed when you hit roadblocks and face challenges. So I think that would be my advice: is be prepared, plan ahead. It's going to be think of it as you're preparing for a long marathon. You make preparations in advance. You don't just get up one day and decide, I'm going to run a marathon. No, you prepare your body. You plan ahead, and it's the same thing with starting a fashion business: is prepare, plan ahead, and then you can only plan so much. At some point, you're going to have to take the leap. if you're sure that's what you want to do, at some point you're gonna have to take the leap, and then go for it. Once you've decided, you have made peace with the challenges you're likely to encounter, and you're sure this is something you will enjoy, something that you will find fulfilling, then absolutely throw yourself into it and give it your best shot.
Awesome. It's been really, really useful. So, what's coming up? I mean, you recently officially launched, the platform, or where is it at right now, and like what's coming up for this year with it?
So the platform's live. So what's coming up is we're going to continue running the program. We're going to continue adding more merchants, more designers, more artists, more artisans, making beautiful things from all over the African continent, making the products available to an international customer base, and hopefully, putting some money in the pockets of these designers and artists. And then we're going to keep expanding and adding features. So, like I mentioned, we're going to add features that allow for bulk purchasing. We add features, we're African, we like to negotiate. So if you're buying in bulk, you as the customer can actually negotiate directly with the merchant through the platform. Say, hey, I'm buying 10 dresses for all my bridesmaids. I want a discount, because I'm not just buying one. So we've actually been developing all of these features, which we're going to add and release over time, wholesale capabilities as well, which I spoke about. So it's a really exciting journey. Well, we're also looking forward to kind of getting increasing the diversity on the platform in terms of just the representation from different parts of Africa, different types of African design, different types of fabric, different types of art, homeware, and really, building out the products and the content and the designer base that the platform's serving. So we're really, really excited about the rest of the year and the future.
Awesome. So I think that's amazing. So yeah, just to say thank you for sharing that.
One of the beauties of e-commerce, especially at a time like this when people can't travel, is that it enables them to make purchases from parts of the world where, usually if you're based in the US or Europe somewhere, there's always somebody traveling back that you can say, hey, buy me this, buy me that. With the pandemic, it's become really difficult. So we're finding a big part of our customers are the diaspora who are shopping because they can't travel as easily into Africa anymore. And then we're actually seeing cross-border trade. We're seeing South Africans buying from Nigerian designers and Nigerians buying from South African designers, which is also a great trend, seeing that inter-Africa trade happening.
Okay. I'm really excited about it, and I'm really truly appreciate your time to share about it.
Thank you.
This time.
Thank you for inviting me. I've had fun. It's always great, kind of telling my story and interacting with designers who are maybe where I was a few years ago, and I can kind of share some of my experience, some of my struggles, some of my successes, some of my failures, and hope that it helps in some way. So yeah, I've enjoyed it, and yeah, thank you for the invite. Great questions, great conversation.
Thank you.